All right, Nick, let's talk about the Alabama Crimson Tide. Very interesting spring ball period for the Tide. Of course, it's going to be when you have a quarterback competition going on. Everyone wants to keep up with it, know what's going on. But I think this latest story that we have kind of details in it's not so much about the results of the quarterback competition, who's leading, who's doing better than who. I think it's more about Kalen DeBoer and his strategy, how he's going to leave his mark, the mentality he has for the competition going forward. Very smart move for the Crimson Tide. We'll jump into that in just a second, but first, I'm Andrew, that's Nick, and this is Saturday Morning Inspection. All right, Nick, as I alluded to, smart moves by Kalen DeBoer as far as how he is dealing with this quarterback competition. Let's jump into the article and we can talk more about it on the other side. This, of course, is from ESPN. It says, there's a trickiness to managing a crowded QB room. If DeBoer goes with Russell, Keelan Russell, Simpson and Mack, talk about Ty Simpson, and also Mack could be gone. The safer play, at least to start the season, is to go with the most experienced option in Simpson and tell the younger guys to keep fighting for their job and see what happens. We even see this play out with Alabama when Blake Barnett got the first start in 2016, but quickly lost his job to true freshman Jalen Hurts. To that point, DeBoer and his staff have emphasized it's an open competition and everyone still has a chance to win the job. I don't think anyone has separated Grubb, the offensive coordinator, recently told ESPN they're all playing good, but they're not playing great yet. You're looking for the guy that's going to be consistent, show up the same, and make the same plays all the time. Again, this is from over on ESPN. I think it's a really good strategy. I think there's a little bit more behind what's being said as far as the strategy going on down in Tuscaloosa. I'm curious what your thoughts are on this one, Nick. But before we get to you, Alabama fans, in the comment section below, what do you think about how this spring ball period is being handled so far by like Kalen DeBoer? Do you think he's going about it the right way? Do you think, this under the radar tactic, trying to keep everyone a level playing field, not giving anyone the edge? Let's get let's get someone out there so we can keep our young guys in there, keep them battling, keep them grinding. Is that the right way to do it? Or do you think they just outright hand it to the young guy, Keelan Russell? Curious what your thoughts are in the comment section below. But nonetheless, Nick, what do you think about this latest out of Alabama?
I think it's a really smart move by the Alabama coaching staff because based on reports, right, it's Simpson hasn't done anything to lose the job. He's seen the favorite going into spring, seems to be the favorite coming out of spring. He hasn't done anything to lose it, but he hasn't taken the football and ran with it and clearly separated himself from Mack and Russell here. And I think not naming a starter at this juncture is really important for a number of reasons. Number one, if you name a starter when there's been an open competition battle and there isn't a guy who's clearly won it, if you name him this early, everyone in the locker room, including assistant coaches, by the way, are going to take a step back and be like, well, hold on a second. Are we handing people positions now? Is that how this works? I thought this was a competition and that guy didn't win it, at least not yet. That's the kind of thing that can destroy a locker room and destroy a season very early when you hand out positions. Credit to Coach DeBoer for not making that big mistake. We see a lot of coaches do it. It's easy to do. They're like, okay, we want to put the quarterback battle. We want to put this, maybe some quarterback controversy behind us. We'll name a starter now. We can focus on, summer football, get everything in a good position with our workouts, and then get ready for training camp. Kalen DeBoer did not make that mistake. Some coaches do. We see it happen almost every year, saying, listen, no one has outright won it yet. So there's not a guy yet. We haven't made that decision yet and won't for a while. That's a smart move there. Again, if no one has clearly won it, which based on reports, no one has, then you don't name a guy. It sounds obvious, but it actually is really important. But when it comes to protecting transfers, that's also not a bad idea because as we are getting really close, I think it's actually about to kick off, I believe, in over the next couple of days, is the second transfer portal window. So if you announce a starter now and it's not Mack or Russell, you're basically saying, hey, you guys can leave, right? Or hey, Georgia, hey, Missouri, hey, Tennessee, whoever, right? Texas. Hey, call our guys, see if, come in and see if you can take some of our guys. Absolutely not. Don't let that happen. Don't give an opportunity. You let the other two quarterbacks know. You say, "Hey, listen, it's still a quarterback battle. Still a competition. You could be the starting quarterback week one. Don't even entertain transfers." So again, that is the right approach from Kalen DeBoer to keep all the three quarterbacks. deeply involved. Even if you don't think that, say, there's probably a guy, I'm guessing maybe Mac, it's hard to tell, who's the number three guy, the way it seems to be heading, at least long term. Even though he's likely going to be the number three, you don't know how things are going to shake out, and you don't know when or if injuries happen. So you want to make sure you have an entire quality quarterback room, which right now Alabama has a very deep quarterback room. You don't want to upset that apple cart. So again, another angle to this really smart approach here by Alabama. But the final point here as well is you want to make sure this energy, this battle, this momentum you have, keep it going throughout the rest of spring football, spring workouts, and into summer workouts and a training camp. One of the great things about competitions, especially at the quarterback position, is it kind of brings out competition in everybody, right? If you're an offensive lineman, you don't want to be that left tackle that gives up a sack when you're trying to protect Simpson, and then and you're like, oh my goodness, did I just screw up the QB battle? Did I just, or you give up you get Russell gets blown up, you give up a pressure when you're trying to protect Russell, and suddenly you're like, oh my goodness, did I screw up the QB battle? Receivers, every ball, every throw, every catch is under a microscope. Same thing on defense, by the way. You want to be the guy like, okay, I want to make sure, I want to go out there and compete to make sure I'm not the guy that gives up the touchdown that decides who the quarterback is, or I'm not the guy that gives up the long scramble who decides who the quarterback is. That long living competition, carrying that the entire offseason, will do wonders for a team, especially like Alabama. That, if we're being totally honest, now that Nick Saban is gone, one of the things he was so great at was the old rat poison thing, right? Removing the complacency, no complacency. Kalen DeBoer doesn't have that same gravitas, we'll say, that Nick Saban does, but he's taken a different kind of approach here. Again, keeping everyone in that hyper competitive mindset. No matter how you look at it, this was a really solid strategic decision by DeBoer and the Alabama coaching staff.
Yeah, Nick, and I think the point you bring up, that second transfer portal period. Now, gone are the days of feeling safe. You get your class in, you get your transfers in, then you can hit practice and just do whatever you want and not feel worried about. Okay, well, we now have a second window of the transfer portal that opens up, and people can start to leave. I think it's something that maybe needs to be looked at and maybe needs to be worked on for the sake of the teams. But I think the way that Kalen DeBoer is, navigating that situation, that's the key here. I think this is showing year one to year two. We talk about the year two jump with players sometimes, the year two jump with a coach, head coach, navigating this quarterback position, being the old vet, say, all right, guys, no one's winning yet. Open competition. Everyone keep, he didn't even go to say, like, everyone's doing good. He's like, well, no one's really just separated themselves yet. He's kind of, like negging them in a way. People talk about, like, when you go to a bar, pick up somebody, give someone a negative comment might be better than, giving someone a regular compliment. That's what he's doing with the quarterback, saying, hey, guys haven't been good enough yet. This isn't a team, a quarterback group that's really impressed me. So keep working harder, keep grinding to be the quarterback of this Alabama team. Very interesting approach. Yeah, I think it's gonna work, and I think that's the key. And if they start the season out, if Simpson doesn't lose the job, I tend to agree with you. I tend to, take a step back and look at this quarterback situation. If Simpson doesn't do anything to lose said job, I think he probably should be the starter at the beginning of the season and have one of the other guys earn it. Or if Simpson does fantastic, then there you go. You don't have to worry about it so much. So I think every move he's made down this step is showing a good year one to year two jump for Kalen DeBoer. Handling this situation really well. I think if he keeps it up this way, I don't think we see any of these guys lose, because when you listen to the media, when you listen to the press conferences, it sounds like everybody has a reasonable shot at being the starter for this team. I think that's the best approach. And I think truly, when you're one of these quarterbacks, you're like, hey, I truly have a chance to start for this team. I need to stay here. Keeping all three of these guys through the transfer portal season, that'll be the key for me. This would be a stellar offseason if Kalen DeBoer was able to navigate this whole situation and every one of these guys stayed on this team. I think that would be an absolutely massive win for the Crimson Tide.
You're 100% correct, because I guarantee you all three of these guys are getting calls, especially Mac and really even Simpson, I'm sure too, from other programs, and maybe even Russell, who knows, even though he's a young kid, about transferring, at least if not this next transfer portal window or sometime in the future. I guarantee you that's happening, whether it's directly from other coaches or through back channels with NIL dollar opportunities. I mean, it's just the college football world we currently live in right now. Every single one of these guys, I guarantee they get their phone, they got text messages or emails or whatever saying, hey, you want to come to Auburn? I think I can get you $1 million, right? Remember, if you're not going to win the job, he hasn't even started yet. You might as well come to come to LSU or whoever, right? It doesn't matter the program. We see that in the modern day of college football. It's just the way it is. You have got to have a plan to address that while also simultaneously maintaining your locker room and keeping the team motivated and keeping that competition alive. It's really, really tough to do. Some programs, you look at Nebraska is an example of this. They try and go internal, right? They cancel the spring game, they get away from the media, they keep everything internal, right? That's sort of their goal, or at least how they've approached it. We'll see how it works out for them. Matt Rule over there doing his rebuild. Other programs are very much still out in the open about it. The Oregon Ducks are like this, like, we don't care. Here's everything. This is just who we are. We're not going to change it. That's another approach. Alabama is taking a more case by case, a more methodical. They're saying, okay, based on our current situation with the quarterback competition, we're going to structure it in a way to protect our guys and protect our momentum. So we're not going to be totally inclusive and not say anything, but we're also going to not say everything right now either. I think that's a great job by Kalen DeBoer. Again, you brought up a great point there. A winning offseason on top of the recruiting and the transfers they brought in is getting to week one with a good quarterback room, with a clear starter that's gone through the ringer. And based on the coaching staff's approach right now down in Tuscaloosa, that goal is likely to be accomplished.